CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Victoria police are investigating an assault that happened last night, putting a 56-year-old man in the hospital with head injuries. Police got the call to the intersection of Blanchard and Hillside at about 6:30 yesterday evening, after a number of 911 calls saying that there was someone being attacked by 3 people. When officers arrived at the park on the corner, they found an unconscious man who was bleeding from the head. Police immediately began searching the area with the help of a canine unit and arrested a 30-year-old suspect.
So what we have is a 56-year-old male has gone to the hospital with some head injuries, has been treated at VGH, and we have 3 people in custody right now, 1 suspect and 2 persons of interest in this file.
Vic PD says the victim was intoxicated and had gotten into a verbal match, yelling with a group of 3 people. Police say the argument turned violent. The victim was struck from behind. He was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but was later released last night. The 30-year-old suspect appeared in court to face charges this morning. A coroner's inquiry into the deaths of an elderly Saanich couple in Cadborough Bay in January of last year has confirmed that the deaths were a case of murder-suicide. The coroner has found that Eric Mueller killed his wife Mary by stabbing her to death and then turned the knife on himself. A suicide note was also found at the scene. The coroner found that Mueller had been suffering from depression for the last 3 years of his life, and that the day before the murder-suicide happened, Mueller had visited his doctor, who had referred him for possible dementia. The coroner makes no specific recommendations in the case, but adds in the report that older white men are less likely than others to reach out for help in such circumstances. A kennel of sled dogs from Whistler is looking to find retirement on Vancouver Island. These furry 4-legged friends are out of the doghouse and now staying at the SPCA in Victoria until they can find a new place to call home. The Huskies are between 4 and 10 years old. The SPCA says these dogs are great with children, they're well trained, and they deserve a good home where they can retire.
They're really nice and really social, and they'll be great family pets. And I think that after everything they've been through, they deserve to be family pets. They've been working all their lives, and now is retirement time. What we would like is them to go into homes where they can be in front of a fireplace, where they can be in the home. Like, we don't want them going to living outside in pens or anything because they're huskies and husky crosses. We're just really looking for the older dogs to go into homes where they can retire, where they can have a nice life. They've worked their whole lives, and they're very social, and they just loved being hugged, and they just need good homes.
In April of 2010, more than 50 sled dogs in Whistler were massacred in a mass cull after a downturn in business following the Olympic Games. That sparked outrage around the world. To adopt one of these retired sled dogs, you can get more information at the SPCA's website at spca.bc.ca. Well, if the lack of sun that we have been enduring has made you a little gloomy, you can buy a bunch of hope that'll brighten your day and somebody else's too. Greater Victoria mayors and MLAs were pinning yellow daffodils under their jackets today as the Canadian Cancer Society Daffodil Campaign kicked off in the Capital Region. Proceeds from every bouquet of daffodils sold this month will go towards helping those who are battling cancer. The Canadian Cancer Society says it wants no one to feel that they're fighting cancer alone.
I just wanted to ask everybody out there to come out and support the April campaign, to walk hand in hand with those people that are fighting this dreaded disease.
So the Cancer Society's research and their focus on public policy issues like banning cosmetic pesticides to keep our kids safe, to keep expectant mothers safe, and to keep our pets safe in the outdoors is great stuff.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper showed his support sporting a yellow daffodil in Ottawa this afternoon. More than 21,000 people are diagnosed with cancer in BC every year. And if you'd like to support those who are living with cancer and cancer survivors, you can do it by donating at fightback.ca. The BC Centre for Disease Control has a warning for you tonight. Do not eat some organic cheese that has been produced by a company on Salt Spring Island. The agency says the cheese, the Tom d'Or cheese manufactured by Moonstruck Organic Cheese on Salt Spring, may be contaminated with listeria. Anyone who bought the product is urged to throw it out or take it back to the store where you bought it. Listeria is potentially deadly. The Disease Control Centre says, however, that no illnesses have been reported that have been linked to the tainted cheese so far. And if you ate food from the delicatessen at the Quadra Street Fairway Market in Victoria and you're concerned about getting your hepatitis A shot, the Vancouver Island Health Authority says there's no need to worry because there is going to be enough vaccine for everyone. There were long lineups down the street again today for the 4th day. People waiting to get their Hep A vaccine as VIHA opened its doors at its Cook Street Health Clinic. The health authority issued a public alert on Saturday after an employee at the Fairway Market Deli on Quadra was diagnosed with hepatitis A. Sunday, people were turned away from the clinic when it ran out of shots, but VIHA says more vaccine has arrived and there is enough for everyone.
I was going to come and be safe rather than sorry.
Yeah, I ate there, I think, a couple of the days that it happened, so may as well just get it kind of thing.
I wasn't too worried about it. I figured the medical system would take care of us, and they are, so no big deal other than having to stand in line and miss some work.
The immunizations will continue until Thursday for customers and employees who ate at the deli between March 19th and 26th. So far, VIHA says there have been no reports of any other people getting sick as a result. Well, as the old saying goes, everybody loves a parade, but maybe not as many want to be in the parade as expected. Organizers of the annual Victoria Day Parade say the number of entrants signed up this year is way down. The Island Farms Victoria Day Parade is the largest in the capital region, drawing more than 100,000 spectators every year and participants from across the island and U.S. Pacific Northwest. Organizers say the applications have gone out, but not as many as expected have come back.
There was a great demand for entry forms, and I guess it's sort of like our income tax. We file our income tax at the last minute, and we've just got to get those entry forms in. The people have them.
Every year there is a lot of representation from U.S. schools, but so far only 18 groups from the U.S. have signed up for the parade. Victoria Day Parade organizers say they still have room for about 40 more entries, but time's running out. The deadline is this Thursday. Well, it's a big birthday for the capital city this year. Victoria is turning 150, and to mark the occasion, lampposts will sport some festive banners. They began going up around downtown and Beacon Hill Park today. The city says the banners are garden-themed. All of them will be up by the middle of the month. Also in Nanaimo tonight, a father and his teenaged son are being hailed as heroes after rescuing a pregnant woman who was being dragged by a car. The two were driving along Bruce Avenue on Saturday afternoon. They spotted a car that was weaving in and out of traffic. They called 911 to report a drunk driver. Then they realized that there was a woman hanging out of the passenger side being dragged at speeds of up to 50 kilometers an hour.
They waited for a spot where they could cut in, but there's too much incoming traffic. So they finally found an opening in traffic, and then they cut around the vehicle, stopped their vehicle, and it stopped the vehicle. She left the vehicle, and they took her to a house. Ambulance and the members arrived.
RCMP say the suspect was the common-law partner of the woman who was being dragged, and his 3-year-old son was in the back seat during the ordeal. The car sped away before officers arrived. The suspect driver arrested about an hour later at a home on Townside Road. The child was not with him, but was found safe with a family member. The woman is 3 months pregnant and suffered minor injuries only. Police say had it not been for the two men intervening, she could have been killed.
What they did was incredible. Without their intervention, this could have been a tragic situation. So we'll certainly look at that, and hopefully we can recommend them for some type of an award. I spoke with them this morning, and they don't want to go public. They'd rather keep a quiet profile on this, but we are certainly going to look at their actions and recommend them for something.
34-year-old Jay Guzina has been charged in the incident. He's been released from police custody and is scheduled to appear in court at the end of this month. The woman who's suspected of driving the vehicle that struck and killed a Duncan teenager on Sunday morning has now been released from RCMP custody there. She's been charged with failing to remain at the scene of an accident and is due in court in June. 17-year-old Daniel Hopkins was found lying on Boys Road on Sunday morning at about 5 o'clock. He died that night in Victoria General Hospital. Investigators say that alcohol was a factor in the crash on the part of the driver and the victim.
These are things that are definitely being looked at, and obviously there's other factors that all the factors have to be taken into account by all the investigators, and so yeah, there's a possibility of other charges. But for now, the charge is failed to remain at the scene of an accident.
The woman was released on a number of conditions, including that she not consume alcohol nor drive a vehicle. A Vancouver Island real estate company is forming a partnership with Habitat for Humanity to raise the roof on 6 new homes. The Coast Realty Group is making a 3-year, $30,000 commitment to Habitat on the Mid-Island. The company's realtors all voted from a list of island-based nonprofit groups, and Coast says Habitat easily came out on top.
It was really easy to find Habitat for Humanity, to understand what they're doing in their community, and it's such a great fit for a real estate company and realtors to help buyers get into their first home. So the fit with the real estate and Habitat for Humanity is such a natural one. We're really pleased to help them as they're helping people get into their new homes.
company will host fundraisers and will encourage individual realtors to donate portions of their commissions to raise the money for Habitat. It'll pay for roofs on 3 duplexes over the next 3 years.
We are honored with that, and the significance to us is that, wow, we'll have a roof for 2 homes for 3 years. It makes a difference with financial planning and budget planning and home planning. So, wow, it's more than just a difference to us. It's a difference to 2 families over 3 years. So 6 families that's impacting, so we can't be happier.
This is the first long-term corporate pledge that Habitat for Humanity has received since it began serving the Nanaimo area in 1994.